What happens when two of Korea's brightest stars are spotted together once again? Breaking news. Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min have been seen on another date. And social media is exploding with speculation. Join Red Carpet Revealed as we dive into the details and uncover the truth behind the buzz, right now. What happens when two of Korea's most beloved stars are spotted together again? Not on the set of a drama but in the quiet corners of the city? The internet explodes. Fans lose their breath. Rumors that once seemed like whispers suddenly roar back to life. That is exactly what happened when Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min were caught on another late-night outing, sending social media into a frenzy within minutes of the photos hitting the web. The sighting was simple yet electrifying, two figures walking side by side, dressed casually, caps pulled low, but their familiarity with one another impossible to disguise. To anyone else, it might have been an innocent meeting between friends. But to fans who had followed their careers, their chemistry, and the rumors that had swirled around them for years, it was confirmation of something they had long suspected. The story of Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min is one built on timing, talent, and serendipity. Jung Hae-in, the gentle-eyed actor with a disarming smile, has long been seen as the nation's boyfriend material. His breakout in Something in the Rain established him as the perfect romantic lead. His performances in DP and Snowdrop cementing his reputation as a versatile talent. With every role, he cultivated not just admiration but a sense of intimacy with audiences, as though his warmth transcended the screen. Jung So-min, on the other hand, carved her path with resilience and charm. From her early days in Playful Kiss to her poignant portrayal in Because This Is My First Life, she proved herself not just a pretty face but an actress capable of nuance, wit, and vulnerability. Her on-screen presence made her relatable, approachable, the kind of actress viewers wanted to root for. Together, Hae-in and So-min embodied the qualities fans most adored: sincerity, humility, and talent that only grew stronger with time. So when the two were linked in rumors years ago, fans were quick to take notice. It began innocently enough: candid photos from behind the scenes, snippets of interactions during promotional activities, subtle gestures that fans read as too genuine to be scripted. Soon, the whispers grew louder. Were they more than just colleagues? Was there something blooming off camera? Both stars remained silent, their agencies brushing off speculation as the inevitable result of their natural chemistry. And for a while, the rumors faded, replaced by new projects, new co-stars, and new distractions. But fans never forgot. Online communities archived every smile, every compliment, every coincidental Instagram post that seemed to align in timing or mood. The Hae-in-So-min-ship became a staple in certain fandom corners, sustained by hope and the belief that sometimes drama-like romances could come true. That is why the latest sighting struck like lightning. The photos, taken by a passerby and quickly sold to the media, showed the two leaving a cozy restaurant in the heart of Seoul. It wasn't the fact that they were together, it was the way they moved. Comfortable, familiar, his hand lightly guiding her as they crossed the street, her smile visible even beneath her mask. It was intimacy, subtle but undeniable. Within an hour, Twitter and Korean online forums were ablaze. Hashtags like Hae-in-So-min date and caught again trended at the top. Comments flooded every platform. They look so good together. Is this the confirmation we've been waiting for? They're adults, let them be happy. At the same time, skeptics raised eyebrows. Could be just friends. This is all PR before a project. The polarization only added fuel to the fire, ensuring that the story spread beyond Korea to international fan bases. The media machine roared to life. Entertainment portals pushed out breaking news alerts, their headlines growing more dramatic by the hour. Dating rumors resurface as Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min are spotted together again. Tabloids capitalized on the ambiguity, speculating about secret dates and romantic hideouts. Morning shows debated the meaning of it all, with commentators laughing about how where there's smoke, there's fire. What made the situation more tantalizing was the history. This was not the first time the pair had been linked. Paparazzi had previously captured them at similar outings, though both agencies had brushed those off as friendly dinners among colleagues. Fans remembered those denials, and now, seeing them together again, questioned whether the truth had been hidden all along. Meanwhile, netizens dove into detective mode. Old clips resurfaced, from interviews where Hae-in praised So-min's acting to variety show moments where their banter seemed unusually natural. Instagram posts from months ago were re-examined for matching vibes. Even their choice of accessories, caps, sneakers, jackets, were compared side by side in fan forums, with claims of couple items lighting up comment sections. For Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min, the renewed spotlight was both a blessing and a burden. On one hand, the frenzy underscored their enduring popularity. On the other, it thrust their private lives into the harsh glare of public scrutiny once again. As celebrities in Korea, dating news can spark as much controversy as it does celebration. The stakes were high. Yet one thing was clear: the sighting was no longer something that could be easily dismissed. The comfort between them, the timing, the context, it all painted a picture too vivid to ignore. Whether or not they would confirm it, the public had already drawn its conclusion. And so, in just a few hours, what began as a casual dinner between two friends, or perhaps something more, exploded into a national conversation. Were Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min really dating? Had they been together all along? And most importantly, how would this revelation shape their futures in an industry that both thrives on and punishes love stories? The internet wasn't just buzzing, it was roaring. And this time, the rumors didn't feel like rumors at all. They felt like the beginning of something undeniable. The aftermath of the sighting was nothing short of a cultural storm. Within hours, the narrative had spun from excitement into frenzy, with every corner of the internet weighing in. Fan forums filled with heated arguments. Some insisted the couple's chemistry had always been too strong to be just friends, while others clung to denial, claiming the photos were coincidental or taken out of context. Twitter became a battlefield of hashtags, Hae-in So-min love fighting neck and neck against leave them alone. What made this moment different from the rumors of the past was its undeniability. The intimacy and the gestures, timing of the dinner, and the history of previous sightings created a sense that this was no longer speculation but fact. That realization created waves of joy among shippers who had waited for years, but also stirred unease among fans who feared what public dating could mean for their careers. The media poured fuel on the fire. Morning shows debated whether Hae-in and So-min were the new power couple of K-entertainment. Tabloids went further, crafting speculative timelines of their alleged relationship, complete with grainy photos and anonymous quotes from industry insiders. Even mainstream outlets, usually more restrained, splashed headlines suggesting that their romance was the worst-kept secret in K-drama. Every action the two stars took in the days after was dissected to exhaustion. When Hae-in appeared at the airport wearing the same cap seen in the dinner photos, articles declared it a subtle confirmation. So-min posted a photo of her dog on Instagram with the caption "Happiness is simple." Fans flooded the comments with messages reading, "Who makes you happy?" Their silence, though predictable in an industry where agencies carefully manage dating scandals, only heightened the obsession. Amid the chaos, fans split into extremes. Reporters organized online campaigns, trending hashtags that celebrated the couple and defended their right to love freely. Digital billboards appeared in Seoul and Tokyo, flashing messages like "Hae-in and So-min, we support you." Meanwhile, critics were relentless, flooding community boards with posts about broken illusions and betrayal of fan trust. Some even threatened boycotts of upcoming projects, a move that sparked backlash from other fans who accused them of being controlling and unfair. Colleagues in the industry began to weigh in cautiously. A co-star of Hae-in commented during a radio interview, "He's a good man. If he's happy, that's what matters." Another actor who worked with So-min praised her professionalism, saying, "Whatever happens in her personal life, she never lets it affect her work." These subtle statements were enough to suggest quiet support, even as official agencies kept silent. Controversy inevitably raised questions about their careers. For Hae-in, known as the quintessential boyfriend material, some analysts wondered whether being publicly linked would erode the fantasy that fueled much of his popularity. For So-min, whose versatility had earned her both critical and popular acclaim, there was concern that she would face harsher scrutiny simply because she was a woman in the spotlight. Advertisers, too, were dragged into the discourse, though most reaffirmed their partnerships, citing the couple's enduring popularity and relatability. On to personal stakes, the incident triggered a larger cultural conversation about love in the world of K-entertainment. Why, netizens asked, was dating still treated as scandalous in an industry built on portraying romance on screen? Why were idols and actors expected to live in secrecy? And the public celebrated their fictional relationships so passionately. Commentators argued that Hae-in and So-min's boldness, whether intentional or not, represented a crack in the facade. They were proof that stars could defy expectations. It meant enduring backlash. As the weeks went by, noise softened but never fully disappeared. Fan projects turned from defending them to celebrating them, with art, videos, and messages reframing the couple not as scandal but as inspiration. International press hailed them as trailblazers. Korean media began to cautiously shift tone, acknowledging that the public's appetite for controlling stars' personal lives was evolving. The final twist came when both Hae-in and So-min addressed the situation in handwritten letters posted to their official fan cafes. Hae-in wrote, "I know many of you are surprised. Ask you to trust me as you always have. I am still the same actor you've supported. Please continue to walk with me." So-min's letter was equally heartfelt. "Thank you for the love and concern. I want to live sincerely. As an actress and as a person, I hope you will watch over us with warmth." The letters did not explicitly confirm or deny, but they carried a quiet truth. It was enough for fans who truly supported them. The frenzy calmed, replaced by a lingering sense of acceptance. The story that began with a blurry photo and exploded into a national spectacle had resolved not with scandal but with sincerity. In the end, what mattered most wasn't whether Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min were officially dating. It was that, in a culture that often demands silence, and, whatever its label, was undeniable. They had reminded the world that stars, no matter how perfect they appear, are human beings who deserve love. And so, the saga closes with gratitude. Gratitude from fans who finally saw their dream pairing in the light of reality. Gratitude from the stars who endured this storm with dignity. And gratitude from an industry forced, once again, to reckon with its contradictions. The internet may have exploded, but what remained after the dust settled was something more powerful. The truth that even in the most polished corners of K entertainment, love finds a way. The storm did not calm, it grew wilder. It began as excitement and confusion spiraled into something more dramatic than even the most gripping K-drama plotline. Fan communities fractured like never before, with one half defending Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min fiercely, and the other half launching harsh attacks that bordered on obsession. Supporters filled timelines with edits of their drama clips set to love songs. Fan art depicting them as a destined couple. Hashtags like "Let Them Love" and "Hae-in So-min Forever." The opposing faction was just as loud, claiming betrayal, disappointment, and even demanding apologies from the stars for hiding the truth. Some critics insisted that by not confirming or denying, they were toying with public emotions. Others argued their alleged romance was overshadowing their professional achievements, reducing two of Korea's finest actors into mere tabloid fodder. The media exploited the chaos to its maximum. Tabloids published speculative exposés with headlines like "Secret Dates Revealed," "How Long Have They Been Hiding?" Entertainment shows invited self-proclaimed insiders to fuel the fire, each one offering contradictory accounts. One insisted the pair had been together for years in secret. Another claimed the sighting was a publicity stunt for an upcoming drama project. Even mainstream broadcasters jumped in. Primetime news framing the story as a national debate about celebrity privacy. Paparazzi hounded both stars relentlessly. Was followed as he left his gym. The headlines claiming his stern expression was proof of stress. And was photographed shopping with her manager. The captions twisting it into "So-min seeks comfort as scandal intensifies." Innocent, everyday activities were turned into ammunition for gossip, stripping them of the simple freedoms most people take for granted. The industry's response added another layer of pressure. Sponsors and production companies quietly monitored public sentiment. Some advertisers reaffirmed their contracts, citing the stars' professionalism. Others grew hesitant, behind closed doors about brand risk. Casting rumors swirled. Would directors think twice before pairing them in new projects, fearing the noise would overshadow the story? Or would their undeniable popularity turn them into the hottest duo on the market? Amid the chaos, the weight of the scandal pressed hardest on the stars themselves. Friends described Hae-in as unusually quiet, fitting into his disciplined routines to cope. So-min, though outwardly calm, was said to be deeply affected by the vitriol online. Even her past roles were re-examined with cruel commentary. Their silence, once seen as dignity, now fueled endless speculation. Were they fighting? Were they planning to speak out? Or had the backlash already driven them apart? The breaking point came during their first joint public appearance after the scandal erupted. Both were invited to the same award ceremony, an event that instantly became one of the most watched broadcasts of the year. As they stepped onto the red carpet, air crackled with tension. Fans screamed their names. Camera flashes burst like fireworks. And reporters shouted questions about their relationship. Neither answered, their polite smiles masking the storm behind their eyes. Inside the venue, the drama reached its peak. Seated only a few rows apart, the camera cut to them repeatedly, capturing every flicker of expression. Took the stage to accept an award. His voice steady but heavy. Netizens dissected his every word for hidden meaning. So-min clapped for him. Her smile faint but unmistakably warm. The internet exploded again. Did you see that look? This is proof they're stronger than ever. The climax of the night came when they both stood on stage together to present an award. The hall fell into hush as they exchanged scripted lines. Professionalism was flawless. But the electricity between them was undeniable. And then, as they exited the stage, Hae-in briefly placed his hand on So-min's back, a gesture so small, yet so intimate, that the crowd gasped. Within minutes, fleeting moment became the most replayed clip of the night. Dissected frame by frame, turned into GIFs, and shared across the globe. The internet erupted once more. To supporters, confirmation that love could not be silenced. To detractors, it was further proof of manipulation. For the stars themselves, it was likely nothing more than an instinctive gesture, but under the relentless gaze of the world, it became the ultimate symbol of defiance. By now, it was clear, this was no longer just a dating rumor. It had become a cultural phenomenon. A story larger than the two people at its center. Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min were no longer merely actors, they had become emblems of the ongoing clash between tradition and modernity. Privacy and publicity. Fantasy and reality in K-entertainment. The question left hanging in the air was no longer are they dating, but rather can they survive the storm their love has unleashed? When the storm finally began to quiet, what lingered was not the noise of criticism but the echo of something more enduring, sincerity. Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min had weathered one of the most intense public spectacles of their careers. From whispers of rumor to blinding camera flashes, social media wars to cultural debates, they had stood at the center of a whirlwind not of their making. And yet, through it all, they remained themselves, actors, professionals, and human beings longing for something as simple as connection. For weeks, their lives had been dissected, gestures magnified, their silence weaponized. But as time passed, the fever broke. Fans who truly loved them returned to what mattered most, their artistry, their dedication, and the joy they had brought to millions through their work. National audiences, once caught up in speculation, began to admire their resilience instead. What had begun as scandal now looked more like a testament to strength. In handwritten letters released to their fan cafes, both stars poured out gratitude. Hae-in wrote, "I never expected my private life to cause such waves. But through it all, your support reminded me that I am not alone. Thank you for standing by me, even in the noise." So-min's note was equally moving. "I am just one person, doing my best to live sincerely. Thank you for loving me as I am, not as a perfect image. Please continue to watch over me with warmth." Their words resonated deeply. Fans responded with projects of support, videos, art, banners, and messages flooding the streets of Seoul and the feeds of social media. The tone shifted from anger to understanding, frenzy to calm. What once felt like the end of innocence now felt like the beginning of honesty. Beyond the fanfare, the saga left a cultural imprint. Forced conversations about privacy, celebrity, and the double standards that have long defined K-entertainment. Why must stars hide their love when they are celebrated for portraying it on screen? Why is romance viewed as betrayal instead of humanity? These questions did not disappear. But in raising them, Jung Hae-in and Jung So-min had opened a door, one that could not easily be closed again. And so, their story ends not with scandal but with gratitude. Gratitude for the courage it takes to live truthfully in an unforgiving spotlight. Gratitude for the fans who chose compassion over judgment. Gratitude for the reminder that, behind the cameras and the scripts, stars are human too. Fragile, flawed, but capable of love. Curtain falls on this chapter. One thing remains clear, the internet may have exploded. But when the dust settled, Love endured. To our readers, thank you for walking this journey with Red Carpet Revealed. Thank you for feeling the thrill, the tension, and the resolution. In the end, it wasn't just a story about two celebrities caught on a date. It was about truth in the face of noise, and the simple encourage to hold on to each other and to love.